So it's interesting because I've been having to talk with my ex recently, and it's brought up a lot of kind of revelations for me. I feel like I'm having a lot of revelations right now, which I feel like goes in tandem with the Easter portal. I feel like I've been having them here for a while, but things just keep coming up. So I can definitely tell like I'm closing out a lot of cycles like mentally, because there's like a lot of stuff that I'm like coming to the realization of with and like that's what I wanted to talk about with this video, because obviously it's like very scary when you're in a domestic abusive or domestic violence relationship. And what I've realized is that I was like kind of primed for them, because abusive behaviors were normalized in my household. They were masked in front of people and in front of society. Some people didn't really know at all that my parents had the capabilities to be as abusive as they were. And also we were Christians. So I added like another layer onto it of like people not being able to believe that they were abusive. And we actually see this a lot in society, obviously, with like, you see those big cults like the Warren Jeffs and things like that, where these like, people just like use Christianity to mask abusive behaviors. And like and it just like, because somebody like labels themselves as a Christian, people have these perceptions about them because of what Christianity represents, which is Jesus' teachings. But we know that obviously most Christians are hypocritical, and they don't actually follow like Jesus' teachings, which is what we're us awakening or learning. That's what we're learning. We're coming to the realization that we're God and that we've been lied to, but that also Christians aren't obviously following Jesus' teachings the way they think they are. And it's really become distorted, especially within our lifetime. If you're like, well, anybody in our lifetime, really. I feel like the descent has really been like speeding up since the 50s. And I was told that a year ago when I first got psychic downloads. It was like one of the first things they told me was they basically revealed the truth to me, which is what they say that the aliens are going to do. So I think it's really interesting. But they told me how like the Bible got distorted in like the 1600s or whatever, 1500s by two like major religious leaders back then, which was the Christian church and the Jewish religion as well. And that's what I've been told about it, that they were in cahoots with each other, and then they caused this distortion that's caused all the shit that we see today. It's crazy. And that's also tied to like the Illuminati and those types of things. 10:10 on the clock. And then in the 50s, they told me that story. They told me the story about how in the 50s is when basically the Galactic Federation decided like, okay, it's time to like shift over, because there is like a lot of speculation that we haven't quite like shifted into the new age yet. Like because I've seen a lot of like TikToks about how I thought there was like definitely like a specific date, but there really like isn't. So it's hard to like pinpoint when the new age starts. And so like that's kind of what they told me. It was like once they dropped the atomic bomb is when like the free will kind of closed. The contracts kind of closed, because like once you start doing nuclear fission and stuff like that, that's kind of like, okay, we need to, obviously, the society has descended enough to the point of it is now ascension time, because now they're doing nuclear fission, which is going to have ripple effects across the universe, which it really does. And they're not going to, I don't know why, but I'm really curious to know why nuclear fission, because they say it has something to do with creation or something like that. So anyway, so that has caused the manipulation in the Christian religion today and the patriarchy and all that stuff. Because I was told that the Crusades wasn't against Christians, it's actually against Gnostics, because Gnostics carried pretty much the closest thing to Jesus's actual teachings. And I was also told that Jesus's ascension was successful. And he actually, like, his teachings, like, ruled over, like, I don't know how to describe this, like, how, like, over the land, over the world, really, for 13,000 years, just like we're about to go into. And I've also been told that Egypt was like the South. You know how we had like slavery in the South? Well, in Egypt, they had slavery as well. And when they switched over, that's why they have like the pyramids and stuff, because that's like the hieroglyphs are kind of like this weird, like advanced technology, right? Like advanced shit, the pyramids and shit. So anyway, you're like, damn, how the fuck did they do that? Well, that's because that was their ascension time. The aliens came down. That's why they have aliens on the hieroglyphs. This is actually all new information. So this is so exciting for me because I'm like, damn, this makes so much sense. Holy shit, this is crazy. So, that was during their ascension period, after their descension. And like slavery was like, you know, they had slavery for a long time in Egypt, and then Moses came to free the slaves. Well, I've been told that Moses and Jesus are the same person. But also, actually, hold on, wait a second. Harriet Tubman is actually Moses. And then came Jesus' time. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Moses came, freed the slaves, got them to Israel, right? But then Israel got all fucked up. Or was it Israel? I don't know, guys. Sorry. Again, I'm not like the best on the Bible knowledge situation. I really should have paid better attention, but also my brain just can't retain. I don't know. It just doesn't retain that stuff. So anyway, so it's like Harriet Tubman freed all the slaves to the north, you know, kind of a thing. So bets are that Moses was actually a woman. Bets are that Moses was actually a woman. Because they couldn't, like, obviously erase the fact that Harriet Tubman was a woman because it's so close to our time. But they could erase the fact that, like, Moses was, you know, that kind of thing. So that's actually really interesting. That's new information for me that they're adding a year later. And I'm like, whoa, that actually makes so much sense. That is so crazy. So anyway, we're just, we're repeating time. We're not repeating history. History can never be repeated, I've been told. So we're just in this like weird like convergence time loop of ascension. That's why all these time loops are like closing basically. Because now it's time to go into a new age and a new dimension and go back into ascension. And so we do actually have proof here of like what it will be like when the aliens come down, because Egypt has all of that like remnants like left over. So, and then we also have the stories about Tesla and the free energy and those kinds of things. And it's also no coincidence that Tesla has been tied to Trump and his family. Very interesting. I'm curious to see the full truth and ties to that eventually someday. But this went off into a tangent because I stopped. But I'm like, I don't know. I guess they wanted me to get this information. God was like, you need to tell the story of Jesus and Moses today. And Harriet Tubman. Because they've been like telling me these pieces like over the last week. But they've just been like saying like they're like Harriet Tubman. They'll just like say a name, Moses. And I'm like, okay, like the fuck. But now today they're like, this is why. Anyway, it's so interesting. But I do have to continue on with my point because I was so I'm gonna make a part 2 and start over because that's crazy. That usually never happens. Where like I'm trying to start on a different point and it goes off into a completely different situation. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, okay. Sorry guys, but this is cool. What do you guys think about this download? I like this one a lot.